I vividly remember the day where I learned I was almost aborted. I had just graduated from the University of Georgia, and I had just moved back home to live with my parents until I found a job. My mom came into my room that day, and she had this expression on her face that I couldn't quite read. Her eyes were filled with tears. She said, "I never meant to keep this from you. I've always meant to tell you your story, but there never seemed to be a good time." My name is Lauren, and this is my almost aborted story.
I honestly never considered having my baby. I saw the pregnancy just as an obstacle that needed to be eliminated. I never viewed my baby as human, but just as a problem. I was ignorant as to how my baby was developing inside of me, and just thought that the sooner I could get rid of the problem, the sooner I could get on with my life. I went to 3 abortion clinics in Tulsa, Little Rock, and Dallas, and each time my baby miraculously measured larger than the clinic was legally allowed to abort. However, at the 3rd abortion facility, they referred me to a 4th that promised they would accept the ultrasound from the 3rd clinic and abort my baby, as they did abortions up to 22 weeks. At 22 weeks, the only way they could perform my abortion was to insert dehydrated seaweed called laminaria into my cervix, leave it painfully overnight, and come back the next day fully dilated. After the laminaria was inserted, I went to my friend's house to spend the night before my abortion the next morning. She was pregnant as well. Through conversations with her that night, I learned that the fluttery feeling I was having in my stomach was my baby moving. And I realized that I had been so determined to have the abortion that I never considered the humanity of the child, or the loss of my baby, or the reality of what I was really doing. That night, my boyfriend kept calling over and over, trying to talk me out of the abortion scheduled for the next morning. At that point, I was hurting from the laminaria and scared. I asked him to meet me at the abortionist office the following day. When I got off the elevator the next morning, he was standing there. He went with me as I told the doctor I had changed my mind. The doctor told me that there was a very good chance that the baby would be born anyway because I was fully dilated. My baby, Lauren, was almost aborted, but instead she was born premature weeks later at 26 weeks. I had planned to give her up for adoption, but after I saw her, I just couldn't do it. It was love at first sight, and I knew I had to keep her. It changed the course of my life, but in the best way possible.
I felt shocked and confused at my mother's decisions decades before, but I also felt so grateful that she changed her mind and that I survived. Over the years, no matter what life has thrown at me, I felt so thankful that my mom changed her mind. To be honest, the weight of the choice my mom made didn't hit me until I was pregnant with my first son. I remember my own 12-week ultrasound. My husband and I had been praying for a baby, and seeing his tiny body on that black and white ultrasound screen in front of me helped me realize what a miracle he was. I was filled with awe when I saw the life God had created inside of me. My mom, on the other hand, was in a very different situation. She was 18 years old, she was single, and she had no plans of being pregnant. It was then that I was able to relate to my mom and the reality and the magnitude of the situation that she went through. It gave me more compassion for my mom and thankfulness for the courage that she had to change her mind. Because of my mom's courage, I'm here. I'm a wife and a mom to 3 boys. I was almost aborted, and my life is worth living. I hope my story helps other mothers have the same courage as my mom to choose life.